Cognitive load in UX. Why too much information kills conversions? Hey, designers and product thinkers. Here's a crazy fact: 90% of the information we process is visual, but our brains can only handle a tiny fraction of it at once. Now, here's the real problem. When users face too much information, they freeze. They don't buy, they don't sign up, they leave. So, today we're diving into what cognitive load is and why it's secretly killing your conversions. How you, as a designer, can reduce friction and boost engagement. Let's get started. The overload problem. Why too many choices? Kill conversions. Okay, let's break this down. Cognitive load is basically the mental effort needed to process information. Ever been to a restaurant with too many options on the menu? It takes forever to decide, right? That's cognitive overload in action. Research in this area explain this in detail. Sheena Iyengar and Mark Lepper's JAM study 2000. In their 2000 study, Iyengar and Lepper set up a tasting booth offering either 6 or 24 varieties of jam. While more people were attracted to the extensive selection, those presented with only 6 options were significantly more likely to make a purchase. Some key findings of the research are approximately 30% of customers who encountered the limited selection made a purchase, compared to only 3% from the extensive selection. This suggests that a smaller choice set led to a tenfold increase in purchases. Google's Speed Research 2018. Google's analysis indicated that a 1-second delay in mobile page load time can decrease conversions by up to 20%. These studies highlight the significant impact of choice overload and page load speed on consumer behavior and conversion rates. Because the human brain hates too many choices, it gets stuck in analysis paralysis and users bounce instead of deciding. So, what is cognitive load and why should designers care? Alright, let's get a bit geeky, but in a fun way. Cognitive load is a concept from psychology that explains how much mental effort is required to process and retain information. Every time a user interacts with a digital product, their brain is actively working to first understand the interface, then process information, and finally make decisions. As discussed earlier, our brains have a limited processing capacity. Just like a computer slows down when too many applications are open, users struggle when faced with too much information at once. If the load is too high, they get frustrated, make poor decisions, or, worst of all, abandon the experience entirely. Next, let's understand the 3 types of cognitive load and how they impact UX. John Sweller, a cognitive psychologist, introduced the cognitive load theory, 1988, which breaks it down into 3 categories. First is intrinsic load, the built-in complexity of a task. This is the inherent difficulty of a task itself. Some things are just naturally harder to learn than others. For example, learning to ride a bicycle is harder than learning to walk. Understanding basic UI controls is easier than mastering motion design principles. A Google search bar has low intrinsic load, just type and search. A 3D modeling software like Blender has high intrinsic load, steep learning curve. But why does it matter for UX designers? You can't eliminate intrinsic load, but you can simplify how it's introduced. Break complex tasks into smaller, digestible steps. Use progressive onboarding. Teach users as they go. Offer contextual tooltips instead of dumping too much information at once. A good UX example is Duolingo's onboarding, which teaches one phrase at a time instead of overwhelming users with grammar rules. Second is extraneous load, the UX killer, bad design choices. This is the unnecessary cognitive effort that doesn't contribute to learning or achieving a goal. It's purely wasted brain power caused by bad design. Few examples are a cluttered website with too many pop-ups and ads, a form with 15 unnecessary fields that makes users abandon signups, confusing navigation, forcing users to dig through menus just to find basic information. Why does it matter for UX designers? This is where bad UX kills conversions. Users should never have to work hard to use a product. Here are some frequent UX mistakes that add unnecessary cognitive effort for users. Too many choices on a page leads to decision fatigue, making it harder for users to take action. Excessive text in a small font makes it difficult to scan information quickly, reducing readability. Poor button contrast causes users to miss key actions, leading to frustration. No clear CTA, call to action, leaves users confused, unsure of what to do next. Now, let's look at a great example of good UX. Think about Google's homepage. Just a search bar, no distractions, no unnecessary complexity. Simple, intuitive, and effortless. That's what great UX looks like. John Sweller's cognitive load theory, 1988, found that reducing extraneous load helps users learn faster and make better decisions. Third is germane load, the good mental effort. This is the useful cognitive effort that helps users process meaningful learning. It's the type of effort that leads to engagement and mastery. Here are some great examples of well designed experiences that enhance learning without overwhelming users. Step by step onboarding flows. Guide users through a new app gradually, helping them understand features at their own pace. Tutorial mode in mobile games. Introduces mechanics progressively, ensuring players learn as they play rather than all at once. Profile strength meter. Encourages users to add more details to improve their profile, providing clear feedback and motivation. The goal is to increase engagement without overwhelming users. A well balanced experience keeps users engaged, not frustrated. A great UX example is Notion's onboarding flow. Instead of overwhelming users with everything up front, it introduces one feature at a time, making learning seamless and intuitive. What this means for UX designers. Now that we understand the three types of cognitive load, here's the golden rule for UX design. If your design makes users think too hard, they leave. Your job as a designer is to make decisions feel effortless. How to design for low cognitive load. Reduce choices. Follow Hicks' law. Fewer options means easier decisions. Keep UI clean. Remove unnecessary elements and distractions. Use clear navigation. Make it obvious where users need to go. Guide users. Use progressive disclosure to reveal information only when needed. Prioritize visual hierarchy. Important elements should stand out. The business impact. What happens when UX reduces cognitive load? Now that we understand cognitive load and why it matters, let's explore its real impact on business performance. Here's the reality. Every extra second of friction in a user's journey translates to lost opportunities. When users feel overwhelmed, confused, or frustrated, they abandon tasks, leading to lower conversions, reduced engagement, and higher churn rates. Imagine an e commerce store with a cluttered checkout process. A user adds items to their cart, but then they encounter too many form fields, unnecessary steps, and confusing payment options. Instead of completing the purchase, they leave the site and never return. This is a direct consequence of high cognitive load driving business loss. The good news? Companies that actively reduce cognitive load see significant improvements in user satisfaction, engagement, and revenue growth. A smooth, effortless experience keeps users focused, confident, and more likely to complete actions. Let's dive into some real world examples of how businesses are winning by designing for clarity, ease, and speed. Amazon's one click checkout, enhancing conversion rates. Many online retailers face challenges with users abandoning their shopping carts before completing a purchase. A common friction point in e commerce is the checkout process, where users are required to repeatedly enter shipping and payment details, leading to frustration. Amazon introduced one click checkout, allowing customers to complete purchases instantly without needing to re enter their payment and shipping details every time. This eliminated unnecessary steps in the purchasing journey, making transactions seamless. By streamlining the process, Amazon enhanced the user experience, making purchases faster and easier. The success of this approach led many competitors to adopt similar one tap purchase methods to improve their own checkout flows. Airbnb's booking process. Optimization, enhancing user experience. Airbnb identified that some users dropped off mid booking, often due to a lengthy or complex form filling process. Overloading users with too many fields to fill out at once led to hesitation and increased decision fatigue. The company refined its booking flow by simplifying the number of steps required to complete a reservation. They used progressive disclosure, meaning users were presented with only the most essential information at the beginning, with additional details requested only when necessary. These changes made the booking process feel less overwhelming, leading to more users completing their reservations. Airbnb's focus on a friction free user journey helped create a smoother and more intuitive experience for travelers. Google's emphasis on search, speed, maintaining user engagement. Users expect instant search results, and any delay in loading information can cause frustration. If a website or search engine takes too long to respond, users are likely to abandon the process and seek alternatives. Google prioritized search speed optimizations by ensuring that results load quickly and pages are delivered efficiently. Their minimalist design helps keep users focused on only the most essential information, avoiding distractions that slow decision making. Faster search results mean higher user satisfaction and better engagement. By maintaining a lightweight and efficient interface, Google reinforces its role as a go to search engine for quick information retrieval. So, what's the takeaway? Alright, let's keep it simple. Reducing cognitive load isn't just about good UX, it's a game changer for business growth. Think about it. Fewer steps equals more conversions. Nobody wants to jump through hoops just to buy something. Faster pages equals more engagement. If a page takes too long to load, people leave. It's that simple. Simplified forms equals higher completion rates. Nobody enjoys filling out long, complicated forms. Keep it short and sweet. At the end of the day, when users feel comfortable, in control, and not overwhelmed, they take action with confidence. And that confidence translates into higher revenue, stronger retention, and happier users. So the next time you're designing a product, ask yourself, am I making this easy or making my users work too hard? Here are some actionable UX tips on how to reduce cognitive load today. Now that we've seen how major companies solve cognitive overload, how can you apply these principles to your designs? Use Hick's law to simplify choices. The more options a user has, the longer they take to decide. So reduce menu options, keep only the essentials, minimize form fields, ask for only what's absolutely necessary, and use default options and recommendations to guide users. For example, instead of showing 15 plus payment methods at checkout, highlight the top two most used credit card, PayPal, with an other option for additional choices. Break down information with progressive disclosure. Users shouldn't have to process everything at once. Reveal only the most relevant details first. Let users expand sections for more information when needed. Use step by step onboarding to gradually introduce features. An example to explain this. Instead of dumping all settings at once, apps like Figma and Notion use guided tutorials to introduce tools as users need them. Improve visual hierarchy for faster decision making. Users need clear, scannable content to avoid decision fatigue. So use bold headlines and contrast to make key actions stand out. Follow the F pattern or Z pattern for content layout. And keep important buttons large and visible. For example, on Amazon's product page, the Add to Cart button is bold, yellow, and impossible to miss. Minimize distractions for better focus. Unnecessary elements add mental friction. So, remove pop ups and auto-playing videos that overwhelm users. Limit text overload. Keep things short and digestible. And use white space to create a more relaxed experience. Take Apple's example. Apple's website is simple, clean, and visually relaxing, focusing attention on one product at a time. Optimize speed, because every millisecond counts. Slow experiences kill engagement. Compress images and optimize performance for faster load times. Use lazy loading. Load only what's visible on screen. And preload content intelligently to eliminate wait times. For example, Google's AMP, Accelerated Mobile Pages, ensures web pages load almost instantly, increasing engagement rates. Final question to ask yourself. Am I making this effortless for the user? Because the best UX doesn't demand attention, it just works. That's a wrap for today. See you in the next video.